All right, good morning, everybody. We're going to start the November 19, 2024 Hempstead Town Board meeting, and I'm going to ask Councilman Tommy Muscarella to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Tommy, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. He's right here.
Please stand, hand over
Your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Supervisor Clavin.
I'm here.
Councilman Dunn.
Here.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Here.
Councilwoman Miller.
Here.
Councilman Muscarella.
Here.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Here.
Councilman Schneider.
Here. Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the first public hearing.
Yes, on our public hearings calendar, we have a proposed local law regarding regulations and restrictions to limit parking in Franklin Square and Seaford.
Okay, any member of the board wish to be heard? I do not have any slips. Any member of the public do not sign in on this item wishes to be heard? If not, may I please have a motion?
I move the public hearing be closed and the board adopt the item.
Second the motion.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Okay, please call the next item.
We have a proposed local law regarding parking or standing prohibitions in Franklin Square, near Island Park, Levittown, and Seaford.
Okay, any member of the board wish to be heard? Okay, have any slips on item number 2? I did not receive any. If not, may I please have a motion?
I move the public hearing be closed and the board adopt the item. Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye. Please call the next item.
We have a proposed local law regarding arterial stops in Baldwin, Franklin Square, and Levittown.
Okay, any member of the board wish to be heard? I do not have any slips on item number 3. Anybody wishes to be heard that did not sign in on item number 3? If not, may I please have a motion?
I move that the item be approved and the board adopted.
I second that motion.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Please call the next item.
We have a proposed handicap parking on public streets in Roosevelt.
Any member of the board wish to be heard? Okay, I don't have any slips on this item. Anybody wish to be heard did not sign in? If not, may I please have a motion?
I move that the item be adopted and the board approve.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the next item, which I believe is the decision calendar.
Yes, on the decision calendar, we have 2 decisions, the first of which is classifying the repeal of Article 43 of the Building Zone Ordinance titled Transit-Oriented Development and related districts for North Lawrence and Inwood, a Type 1 action and adopting a negative declaration pursuant to the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act in the town of Hempstead.
Okay. On this, Mr. Town Attorney, we're making a decision on this to clarify for the public in the decision calendar. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and the decision on this will rescind the zone and not grandfather in any of the applications that were submitted?
That is correct, sir.
Okay, and I do see our outside counsel on this matter, Steve Lasquadro. Is that you are here, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, Steve, stay with us. So, Steve, if you can tell us some of the determining factors for the residents that know, so they'll understand on the decision calendar, would be appreciative. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Supervisor, as you know, consistent with what you wanted and what the balance of the board wanted as well, which was to make sure with respect to an understanding of this zone and impacts that could affect the communities that are comprised within the zone, particularly North Lawrence and Inwood, that there should be a very comprehensive review and a study to understand what impacts could take place with respect to this zone on a moving forward basis, on a build-out development basis, and also, quite frankly, to understand how the zone was enacted and whether that was done properly. So again, the best interests of the town and its residents could be met. One of the things that was learned in conjunction with a very comprehensive review authorized by Nelson Pope Voorhees, the town's environmental consultants, is that there were a number of inadequacies with regard to how this zone was enacted, not by this board, but under the guidance of the prior supervisor, Ms. Gillen. And one of the things that was learned and that was actually most glaring in the process is that the notification requirements and the legal obligations that the town would have, actually does have, and continues to have in every instance, with respect to notifying and reaching out and making sure there's proper communication to affected residents and property owners, was not met with regard to the enactment of this zone. So, Mr. Supervisor, with respect to that glaring inadequacy and others, it's very clear that rescission, as the board will now take as an action, is not just appropriate, but actually required, because the zone itself would be null and void. And again, this is an action and a consequence brought about by a decision and improper steps taken by a prior supervisor, but something now, of course, responsibly that the board here today must deal with in the best interests of the residents.
Okay, and the other thing I just wanted to clarify, the rescission does not include the grandfather in, is a rescission of the entirety, correct?
That is correct. It is across the board.
Okay, okay. Then can I have a motion at this time?
I move the board adopt the decision.
Okay, all right.
I second the motion.
All right. Supervisor Clavin?
Okay, I'm going to vote yes to rescinding it. And just again, I just want to clarify, because I know we had a wonderful turnout of a lot of residents who were concerned about it. And I know we've had a number of people who've, kept very up to date on this. I know Paris Popak's here today. This is to rescind the zone and not grandfather in those developments. And that is based on the analysis and the reports as set forth by our outside counsel, as well as our consulting agency. So I just want everybody to know that for the record, because there were some confusion that this will rescind the zone and will not.
Councilman Dunn?
Yes.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby?
Yes.
Councilwoman Miller?
I vote yes, and also want to echo the supervisor's sentiment that we really appreciate the communities coming out and voicing what we need to hear. It's how government works. We give you the opportunity to explain pro or against what you think, and the voices were loud and clear, and we heard you, and thank you for participating. I vote yes.
Councilman Muscarella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Yes.
Councilman Schneider?
Abstain.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the second item on the decision calendar.
Yes, the second item repeals Article 43 of the Building Zone Ordinance of the Town of Hempstead, entitled Transit-Oriented Development and Related Districts for North Lawrence and Inwood.
Okay, again, can I have a motion?
I move the board adopt the item.
I second the
decision.
motion.
Supervisor Clavin?
Again, as I said in the first one, this not only takes back the zone, it does not grandfather in, and I think the councilwoman said it right with the number of residents who came out at all these hearings. We appreciate it, and your hard work. And also, I will say to Mr. Squadro, thank you very much for your due diligence on this, and to Nelson and Pulp for doing that true analysis that gives people the ability to see exactly what transpired under the prior administration, and we safeguard people, because a number of the residents did come here and say they had never received notification on that. So that's a kudos to you and your good work on that, and Nelson and Pope. So I vote yes.
Mr. Supervisor, just to be clear, the prior resolution dealt with the determination the secret determination and a negative declaration. This is just the
Well,
decision.
I just want, just want to make sure residents know that, so we're all clear. That's all.
Understood, thank you.
Councilman Dunn,
Yes.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby,
Yes.
Councilwoman Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Muscarella.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder,
Yes.
Councilman Schneider.
Abstain.
Madam Clerk, please call the administrative calendar.
Yes, on the administrative calendar, we have items 7 through 94. I also have one item that is of an urgent or emergency nature. It's entitled Resolution Ratifying and Confirming a Letter Agreement between the Town of Hempstead and Ocean Avenue Marine Incorporated. This will be added as administrative item number 94.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Does any member of the board wish to on the administrative calendar? Okay, I have one slip on the administrative calendar. I have Chris Jacobs. If you identify to go to the back podium there and give your name and address, that'd be awesome.
Good morning, Chris Jacobs, Uniondale, New York.
Morning.
Regarding item 93, what is the proposed increases and improvements that have to be done in East Meadow Water District?
Commissioner's strolling on up there, so he'll, it's not Chris, it's not as quick on the steps as you, so we'll give him a little time. He's going to identify himself for you, all right? Commissioner?
Good morning, Commissioner Reinhardt, Town of Hempstead Department of Water.
Pokey.
93 is calling a hearing at the next town board for a bond resolution to settle claims from damages incurred from a water main break.
Regarding item number 93, speaking on the subject East Meadow Water District, can you provide me an update regarding the Turtle Water Tower, which resides in the Town of Hempstead East Meadow Water District? Is it, because I've been in numerous community meetings and they have told me that it's been labeled condemned?
That one's not on the resolution. If you want to do a follow-up communication to him, an email, he can, but this is just on the resolution calling.
Okay.
Like I said, James, you can always grab him after the meeting. You've been here numerous times, and the commissioner's a good guy, and he's happy to
Thank
answer your
you.
questions.
I'll look forward to more information. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody else wish to be here on the administrative calendar and not sign in? Great, if you can go to the back podium and give your name and address, that'd be great.
Good morning, Supervisor, Deputy Supervisor, and all the people in the council. James
Hi,
B.
Mr.
Jacob, Uniondale.
Hi, Mr. Jacobs.
I need senior clarification on item number 7, the location of the 3 homes in Uniondale.
Okay, hold on there. Item number
7.
7.
Yeah. It said
Yep.
there's 3 homes located in Uniondale. I'd like to know where to add, please.
Danny, if you identify yourself, that'd be awesome.
Morning Supervisor, members of the board. Dan Leo, Acting Commissioner of the Building Department. On items number 7, you talking specifically the ones in Uniondale,
Yes.
which would be 159 Gilroy, 356 Maple Avenue, and 683 Midwood.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay. Could you speak a little louder, please?
Just hitting,
I'm
I know you
sorry.
had 159 Gillen, give them the streets again.
159 Gilroy, 356 Maple, and 683 Midwood Street.
All right. Thank you so much for
Thank
that.
you.
Appreciate it.
All right. Ms. Jacobs, did you want to, I saw your hand up there before. Okay. Anybody else wish to be heard on the administrative calendar? All right, if not, may I please have a motion? Pretty please. Anybody?
I
Oh,
motion,
they're picking on you. You want to make the administrative motion?
I make a motion that we accept the item and ask the board members to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, that's as to items 7 through 95 on the administrative calendar. Supervisor Clavin?
I vote yes on items up to 7 through 95.
Councilman Dunn?
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby? Councilwoman Miller?
aye.
Councilman Muscarella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Yes.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Okay, make a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin?
Aye.
Councilman Dunn? Deputy Supervisor Gooseby? Councilwoman Miller?
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella,
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder,
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye.
Okay, now the Town of Hempstead Town Board meeting is officially over. The Town Board will remain to listen to the comments of residents. I have a couple of residents who signed in. When your name is called, if you just go back to the podium there and give your name and address, that'd be awesome. We'll start with Christina Kramer.
Hello.
Morning. Name and
My name's
address, thanks.
Christina Kramer. I'm from Long Beach, New York. Hi, Missy. I just want to congratulate you on your good news, your daughter. I'm the president of Protect Our Coast, Long Island, New York. We're a group of residents that volunteer our time for the last 2 years that have been fighting the offshore wind turbines. We do not hear from the Hempstead council people about the offshore wind project, and we want to hear from them. We want to hear that the residents have your support. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, they want to put thousands of 1,000-foot turbines in our South Shore, off the South Shore of Long Island. This is a horrific ocean industrialization, but in addition to that, they want to run 90 miles of high voltage cables throughout the communities where residents live, and they also want to install these battery energy substations in residential areas, which are detrimental to our communities. Most of the communities and the residents don't know about it, and I'm assuming what you were speaking about a minute ago with Nelson Pope Voorhees was related to what we just, what we're talking about, that the infrastructure for Propel New York and the battery stations are all really one huge project. We're glad to hear that you're not looking to grandfather anything in, but we want to know that you're actively supporting our communities by having moratoriums in opposition to the BESS. I just also want to say that, even though we think that the new administration may have different plans for green energy, it's really important that that is relayed from our elected leaders to our residents. And just 2 days ago, I had a woman from Uniondale call me and ask us why they're trying to put a battery substation in Uniondale on Stewart Avenue. So while we think that everything is resting, the snakes are at play. And we don't want our beautiful Long Island contaminated with high voltage wires and battery substations in highly residential areas that have never been done like this before. They show you battery substations like in Texas, but they are surrounded by 20 to 30 acres of property. If these things go up, our communities will be destroyed. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Kramer. You have a nice day. Next, I have Dominica Califano.
This was the shortest gig.
Dominica Califano. Okay. Next, I have Elizabeth Skoda. Elizabeth Skoda? Okay.
Thank you. I'm new to
How you
this.
doing? If you give your name and address for the record, thank you.
Elizabeth Skoda, 1637 North Jerusalem Road in Merrick. May I begin?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm new to this, so I'm only here to speak on behalf of the information that's come to light where the Berman Group are interested in potentially privatizing the Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter, and I'd just like to speak for a few minutes on what that means to me, the community, and the residents. First, the Town of Hempstead, the animal shelter for our community, it bridges the gap. I don't know if you understand how much it bridges the gap between government, local government, and the residents. We feel like it's a place for many of us to go to A lot of the residents in the town love the animals, the ones they have at home and the ones that are on the streets and need help. And it also bridges the gap in the sense that there are programs that run the gamut between small children coming and reading to the animals to our local merchants helping to get these animals adopted. So it's a hub of sorts for our community. Also, I'm concerned about the logistics. If it were to privatize, how are we going to now access care for these strays in our community? I don't know how that would work out, and it worries me because I'm not so sure I would trust a private entity with our animals. I'm not sure where I would bring them if that were to happen. Also, most importantly, it would create a disconnect. It's the one thing that brings us all together. Why are we going to change it? It works. Why are we fixing it? The town of Hempstead Animal Shelter is one of the largest in the country, and it is a no-kill shelter. It works. We are an example for many of the shelters throughout the states that are faltering, and I just worry about that. And that's it. I just ask you to reconsider and also think about who wants to take it over. He's a known animal abuser. You know, I just would leave you with the question, you know, we're always taught you're only as good as the company you keep. Is that the type of company you want to keep? So respectfully, thank you very much.
Okay. Francesca Zaldivar. Hi, name and address, please. Thank you.
Hi, Francesca Zaldivar. I live in Huntington.
Welcome to the town.
I was actually a resident of Wantagh for 10 years, and I've been a volunteer at the animal shelter since 2019, and I still commute, even though I'm in Huntington, to the shelter because it means so much to me to volunteer and help the animals as much as I can. I have grave concerns about the privatization bid by the Goldman Animal Alliance, and in particular Mr. Berman, his ties to the sloth encounter, animal tourism, exotic animal tourism, exploitation, trafficking. I feel that that has no place at all at the animal shelter. I don't really know what experience any of the gentlemen on the bid have with shelter management, and that is all I want to say. I'm very much against it. So.
Okay, thank you very much. You have a nice day. Adita Bernkrant. May I name and address, please? Thank you.
Yes. My name's Adita Bernkrant. I'm actually a resident of Queens.
Well, welcome to the town of Hempstead.
Excuse me?
I said, welcome to the town of Hempstead.
Thank you, thank you. I'm a resident of Queens, but I am the executive director of New Yorkers for Clean, Livable, and Safe Streets, and we have many members and supporters throughout Long Island. And today I'm here because Hempstead is considering a bid to allow animal exploiter William Berman and his disingenuously named Goldman Animal Alliance to privatize the town of Hempstead Animal Shelter. And as you may know, Berman is a partner of Larry Wallach's Sloth Encounters. And probably everyone on the council knows very well about his horrific misdeeds and abuse and trafficking of wildlife. Just to keep it simple, we've all heard of the expression putting the fox in charge of the hen house. Well, allowing William Berman to take over the town of Hempstead Animal Shelter would quite literally be putting the animal abuser in charge of the animal shelter. It's an unfathomable possibility, but here we are. Based on Mr. Berman's shocking past history, all signs would point to him using the town of Hempstead Animal Shelter to traffic animals, steal money, and neglect the cats and dogs. Surely that's not what you want or your legacy for this town to be. So please reject that bid. Privatizing the animal shelter is not what we're against. We're against privatizing it to an animal abuser. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, great. Carl Jacobs. Good morning, Ms. Jacobs. Give your name and address.
Pearl Jacobs, Uniondale. I would like to start by thanking Supervisor Gooseby. I applaud your endorsement of Laura Gillen for Congress. We here in District 4 now have a representative in Washington who will represent all communities, not just a selected few, as depicted by D'Esposito's last budget. Here I am again with a picture of Old Rusty, Uniondale's disgraceful and corroded water tower. A water tower that has lacked basic maintenance for 30+ years. Is there an explanation as to why this water tower was not maintained for over 3 decades? This water tower depicts the environmental racism that is prevalent in the town of Hempstead's communities of colors. I did reach out to the town requesting representation at my most recent community meeting on November 4th. I was informed by Commissioner Reinhardt that there was a conflict in his schedule and he could not make my meeting. I understood that. But my next meeting will be held on Monday, December 2nd. And I am again requesting Commissioner Reinhardt to attend this meeting as I am not the intermediary for the town of Hempstead. May I ask for the current status of this water tower? What is the current status?
Ms. Jacobs, you've been to the meetings a lot of times, so you know this is the public comment section. You can always follow up in writing. We appreciate it.
Well, I was at a few community meetings, partner meetings in my community, and they are telling me that some residents, a few residents, received notifications that this water tower has been condemned. And you're telling me I'm coming up here taking my time to speak on this issue that's affecting the quality of life for our community, and you cannot give me the current status on this water tower?
Not right now. I said to you, if you want to follow up, we can.
I'm publicly asking again
Okay.
that a representative from the Town of Hempstead Waters Department, preferably Commissioner Reinhardt, attend my next meeting, December 2nd, 7 p.m. I will follow up with another email.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jacobs. And I want to thank you for the kind words of Deputy Supervisor Gooseby. Deputy Supervisor Gooseby should cherish that. Usually get picked on. So for once, I just want to let you know. I recorded this. Mrs. Jacobs had nice things to say about you, and then what? You're a good person, so you cherish that for her, all right? Next, I'm going to call up James Jacobs. Hey, Mr. Jacobs, you have your name and address. That'd be awesome.
James B. J. Oh. Yeah.
From Uniondale.
It's all right.
I got you. We hear you.
May I speak? James B. Jacobs, Uniondale resident, Deputy Supervisor Gooseby, Supervisor Cleveland, distinguished people on the dais. The reason I want to speak today because some of my shareholders and constituents received letters that there's some lead in the water. So when my wife come here advocating about the water tower and everything else, and the cries are unanswered, it's very troubling as a taxpayer, longtime resident, and one who pays his fair share of taxes, not doing a different scheme other people do not to pay their fair share. Now, I don't want Uniondale to become the second Flint, Michigan, because there are people receiving notice that there's lead in the water. We already got an issue 1 dioxin. So as a concerned citizen, and I know you're not going to answer any of these questions, that's why I look for a person like LaSquad and other people of the law department to at least let us know what our option, that if we're starting to get poisoned by the waters that we get from our tap because of the browning of the water and different contaminants that doesn't affect other areas, I don't think that's just. So even though it's in my 3 minutes, it saddens me that it looks like no one cares about our community of color or color or color, or just people who are not just necessarily of the same political background. And that's just me speaking my truth. So in the future, when you hear about the lead in the water, the 412 dioxin, toxin in areas of color, don't be surprised. Thank you.
Okay. I don't know about the letter you got, but if you want to give it to Commissioner Reinhardt after.
Okay, here's the thing, sir. It was sent to different community people in Uniondale. I can't speak for other areas, but my neighbors came to me concerned because
Do
they
you have
said
a copy of the letter with you?
No, because I did not receive it, sir. I'm trying
Okay, so I'm saying, like, this is the first I heard of it, so I'm actually, Mr. I'm trying to have the commissioner give you help. No, no, apologize. I'm going to apologize. I know you get upset. I was just going to ask the commissioner to follow up with you. I get it. I understand. Thank you, Mr. Jacobs. Next, I have Marcia DiTieri. Ms. DiTieri?
Marcia DiTieri, Merrick, New York. I haven't met my new council person, but I hope he is a tree preservation person. So for the future, before all our trees are gone, I hope something is passed. And I'm also speaking as a volunteer at the Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter, and just heard recently about the sloth encounter director. I don't know if he just put a bid in, or hopefully it's not a done deal that he's going to take over the animal shelter. Heartbreaking what happened to that sloth and how someone had to get bit before they considered closing it down. I also emailed you multiple times about Andrea, who is a senior citizen who worked at the front desk, who spent over a year there, even though she was considered a seasonal employee, and with 1 day notice, she was let go. She greeted people, she had a smile on her face. Employees, as well as people coming in that would otherwise walk away because of the long lines, were treated with respect and kindness. She was given 1 day's notice because she was considered seasonal and was let go. She also lost her apartment because the person was selling their home, and now she has no apartment and no job. So I would ask that you consider the Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter different than every other township business, because they need staff 24/7. They have animals there that need care. People are let go at the drop of a hat. Seasonal employees should not be there over a year, trained, wonderful, and now there's a new person there that doesn't know what she's doing. I'm asking you to hire, to make people permanent part-time people, make the shelter a better place, help the animals, help the staff that now wear 3 hats and cannot do their jobs efficiently because they are always short-staffed. There are bite cases, there are animals that are sick, there are vets that are only there part-time. You need a full-time vet on staff there, and you need to consider the genuinely compassionate people that work there, the volunteers, the TNR program, all those wonderful things that the shelter has to offer before doing anything else. Ashley has wonderful ideas about renovating the shelter. There were grants available that you lost because whoever put the design in was knocked down. Please listen to the staff. Are you listening to me?
Always
Supervisor?
Ms. DiTieri, always
I don't know. I don't know what you're doing.
I wrote the notes that you like the one woman who answered the phone, but you don't like the new person who doesn't like the phone. I'm writing everything
saying
down.
the new person is not.
Ashley has good ideas. I hate to break this to you.
She's not trained yet.
I write this stuff down.
But you didn't understand what I said.
Apparently I didn't. But thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So
Next
please
time, Michelle
rehire
Oder.
Andrea as a.
Thank you, Ms. DiTieri. Michelle Oder. Hi, how you doing? If you give your name and address for the record, thanks.
Hi, good morning. My name is Michelle Oder. I live in Baldwin. I want to stress right from the outside that everything I'm going to say right now is in no way making an accusation against the board or its members. Every statement I'm going to make is published in the media and is taken directly from referencing of legal documents in the Supreme Court of Nassau County. I'm here today to request transparency and diligence surrounding the approval of the project at 2283 Grand Avenue in Baldwin, as proposed by the G2D Development Corporation and its CEO, Gregory DeRosa. The project requires significant zoning changes and variances, was first presented to the board on October 3rd in 2023, was rapidly approved on February 27th of 2024. This accelerated timeline raises serious concerns about the decision-making process and the adequacy of scrutiny applied to the applicant and the project itself. There have been multiple recent published reports that Mr. DeRosa, G2D, and his affiliate companies are facing approximately 17 multi-million-dollar lawsuits from his investors and his contractors. These lawsuits allege fraud, corruption, money laundering, breach of contract, and misrepresentation. Even more alarming are published allegations of conflicts of interest, insider lending, and dealings with the officials in the town of Huntington. This has led the town councilwoman, Brooke Lupinacci, to launch a full-scale law investigation involving the FBI and the New York State Attorney General's office. Therefore, in light of these very serious, critical findings, specifically, I believe that the town owes due diligence to Baldwin and the town of Hempstead residents in their dealings and associations with their projects. As related to this project, specifically want clarification of the approval process. On February 27th, was this project given approval to go forward? And if so, what was that declaration of that covenant? And the appeal window, if that February 27th meeting mandated that 2283 Grand Avenue G2D could go forward, has the appeal window opened and closed in the 90-day window, or is it still opened? Most importantly, we want complete transparency, a complete accounting of all the investors and entities that were initially involved with this project, Greg DeRosa and G2D, as well as who is in the project right now. Transparency is crucial to ensure that no lingering ties to G2D remain, and we need to know the project status. Has the project been transferred? Is it being transferred? If so, to who? And names need to be specifically cited. Given this serious allegations of lawsuits, the town of Hempstead needs to really listen to the demands of the Baldwin.
Thank you very much. If you'd like to follow up with an email, that'd be great. Thank you very much. Okay, right, yep, okay. I don't have any other slips. Is there anybody else, Mr. Jacobs, that wishes to be heard right there? Good to see you again. If you want to give your name and address, Mr. Jacobs.
Good morning, Chris Jacobs, Uniondale.
Yep.
In regards to the Turtle Water Towers, I'll call Old Rusty. You always say to follow up with emails. We did email the commissioner for an update on it. We did not receive an answer from him about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And also, when it comes to I also received about, I know some of the residents have told me a select few that live in proximity to the water tower had received postcards that has been condemned, but I have not. I live about a mile away.
Okay.
But in regards to, I have this postcard here that I gotten about maybe 6 weeks ago from the town of Hempstead telling me because of our ongoing route to conserve water. And I find it ironic that, nothing says water conservation like a leaking water tower. So hopefully it needs to be replaced. It's dilapidated. It's corroded. It's the worst water tower I've ever seen. And hopefully if you guys can fix that for me, that'd be great. Thank you.
Mr. Jacobs, do me a favor. The email you didn't get to respond to, could you just send that to me so I can follow up?
Oh, the email, the last one that wasn't
Yeah, send it to me a town email and I'll send it over, okay? Thank you as always. Anybody else wish to be heard to that side? Sure. There we go. We got a couple. There we go, right there. If you give me a name and address for the record.
Sure. Diane Madden, Hempstead. Before I begin, respectfully, Pearl, I want to mention that not all of us disagree that Gillen did anything. In fact, she was harmful as Town of Hempstead supervisor. She would intimidate people to speak out. And thankfully, we don't see that under this administration. So I hope she's filling your dreams because if it's anything like what she did in Hempstead, it's going to be very sad for residents. Regarding the animal shelter, I completely disagree with some statements that were made that it should be left as is. And as a matter of fact, if that were the case and the shelter was in good shape, in good hands, this town would not be considering a private public. And by the way, that's a partnership. It's not a privatization effort where the town hands over keys. It's a partnership, which is what I have been vouching for, not an individual. In any case, that's how we got here. That's how we got here talking about privatization, because there's nobody in that shelter other than maybe Marcia saying a few words. How come nobody is calling for a full-time expert trainer? They're not calling for a full-time over lost and found. They're not calling for adequate veterinarians. They're not calling to stop the endless killing since the director violated the town's own policy and nearly got herself killed. Now all I'm hearing left and right is dogs that are on the list to be killed. How come no one's talking about that? How come no one's talking about reinstating the TNR program? or bringing back the free spay-neuter to ease and humanely address the overpopulation of pit bulls. I'd like to express appreciation actually for Don Clavin to have the guts to look at something, to maybe do something different. And I trust this board to evaluate any bid that comes in very carefully and determine false lies from fiction. In fact, I had a conversation with Gary Kaufman from Nobody Starves on Long Island, a trustworthy, honorable advocate who claims much of this is laced with lies. In fact, he's under a smear campaign himself right now. As far as my separation from this protest, I separate myself from anything that omits the current conditions of animals, from their grim circumstances, from the fact that dogs continue to be shipped out. Where are the Washington dogs? How come no one is mentioning where these 27 dogs go that this board was led to believe was a good idea? These are questions that need to be answered, but they're not going to be answered by the people that cover up the truth in the shelter and hide the secrets. And by the way, it's doing no favors for the employees because the employees are also suffering. In fact, they look forward to a privatization. They expect the board to be diligent in making that choice and sifting fact through fiction, but they are at their wits' end as well. Nobody talks about that.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Madden.
Please provide some kind of oversight. Thank you, Supervisor.
Okay, next, if you give your name and address, walk up.
Chris Panzacca, Glen Head. I come as a concerned Long Island resident, asking the town of Hempstead to join with the town of Oyster Bay, the town of North Hempstead, who are leading the way in preventing rushes to development for this large project that's being put into 3 segments that puts Long Island's public health and safety at risk, and join with them in opposing the Rapid Act. New York, as the 12th largest economy with 0.4% greenhouse gases, needs to stop this rush to development, industrializing our oceans, surrounding our schools, homes, and communities with high voltage EMF emitting cables and unstable BESS facilities. Infancy BESS technology offering renewable promises poses significant risks to our health and safety that can't be overlooked. There are no long-term residential health studies proving normal operations or disasters are safe for our residents, our sole source aquifers, or the environment. The impact of lithium to drinking water is under review. Nothing has prevented toxic fires, explosions, and thermal runways that are left to burn themselves out. Arizona 2019, 2 megawatts exploded, throwing fire safety 70 feet with chemical burns. Oda Mesa, 250 megawatt thermal runway, 2 weeks of evacuation orders. Can we evacuate our densely populated communities? They also used 8 million gallons of water. That's an estimate. 3 fires in New York alone, 5 to 20 megawatt facilities. Warwick was due to, as a thermal runway for a rainstorm. East Hampton and Lyme, Escondido, 30 megawatts. Over 36 hours, we saw days of toxic burning fumes, evacuation shelters in place, and transportation shutdowns. Can we airtight our homes if we can't evacuate from these toxins? Who will pay for the cleanup of the contamination? Who addresses the costs and the impacts to our community and homes? Will we be high-risk communities and bearing the burden of high insurance rates? Know that hydrogen fluoride is corrosive, and when mixed with water, it becomes hydrofluoric acid. It's easily and quickly absorbed in the skin and the body, causing tissue damage to the cells, lung tissue issues, and causes burns and deaths. There are 6 Asian battery manufacturers in federal legislation to be prevented from being used in our infrastructure. I ask you to pause for a good cause and wait before it's too late. We need to protect our health and safety. Cradle to grave, the long-term impact of these has not been complicated. And for what? A minimal impact on a global situation, trade-offs of one environmental issue for another in coming years, and our health mitigated after the fact. We don't want to be the next Palestine, Ohio, 9/11 air quality issue, or Bethpage class action community. We urge you to protect residents and the public's health and safety from these projects in taking over Long Island.
We appreciate it. Next person there, you come on up and give your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Hi, my name is John DiLeonardo. I'm from Riverhead, New York, but lived in Hempstead for nearly 30 years.
Why'd you move?
Well, because I run Humane Long Island. I'm an anthrozoologist.
Well, welcome back, John. Stop at All American on your way back. Okay, what's going on?
Executive Director of Humane Long Island. So I do most of the exotic animal rescue and farmed animal rescue from Manhattan to Montauk, which is again why I moved to Riverhead, not so conducive to doing this here in Hempstead. I'm here today to urge you to deny a bid by William Berman and Goldman Animal Alliance to privatize Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter. Berman was an early investor and longtime landlord of Larry Wallach's Sloth Encounters, an unlawfully operated wildlife exploitation business that had its storefront shuttered and its federal license canceled earlier this year after it was cited for dozens of violations of the Animal Welfare Act, including critical violations related to lying to federal inspectors about the bite of a child at its facility, and after an investigation revealed staff hitting sloths and Wallach roughly grabbing a wounded sloth by its head and neck. Wallach is a notorious animal exploiter who for decades has wreaked havoc on animals in Hempstead Township, confining lions, tigers, bears, a wallaby, and even a rhinoceros in makeshift enclosures in East Rockaway, and neglecting their vital needs and threatening them with electric prods. Berman is also the founder of Andalusia Animal Adventures, a new exotic animal exploitation business run by wildlife trafficker Shay Hensley, who was arrested on 11 charges related to bear trafficking late last year. Pursuant to state records we obtained, Hensley has apparently been found guilty of animal cruelty, fraud, and theft, among a host of other criminal charges. Berman and his associates were additionally expelled from Greater Goods Charity's Long Island Pet Rescue Bank for fraud after allegedly abusing the rescue bank by acquiring sharply discounted pet food and products meant for charity and apparently selling the products through their pet drugstore businesses and online. I am not opposed to privatizing with a reputable and experienced organization that has animal care at its forefront. However, allowing a serial animal exploiter with a documented history of preying on animals and charitable organizations, as well as bankruptcies, to privatize animal care operations for the largest township in the United States would be a gross misuse of taxpayer monies and endanger countless animals where they are most vulnerable. Please deny Goldman Animal Alliance's bid and keep Hempstead's dogs and cats away from animal exploiters. I know I got about 5 seconds, so I'd just like to address, I saw Diane Madden mentioned up here, Gary Kaufman and herself supporting
John.
this bid.
We had 3 minutes. John.
Oh, I hear you.
John, no, it's John. There's nothing on the calendar about the shelter. You knew that, right?
Oh, I know that.
Okay, great. Then I'll bring up the next person. I just want to let you know there's nothing on the calendar. Thank you very much, John. Bring up the next person. You give your name and address. That'd be great. Come on up.
Good morning, Hillary Flanagan.
Hi, how you doing?
How are you?
Good. Your name and address?
Hillary Flanagan, Belmore.
Okay.
Supervisor Clavin and town board members, I respectfully request that you halt continued discussion or contemplation of the award of privatization of the Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter to Golden Animal Alliance. Per the documents you were sent and the additional documents sent yesterday to the Chief of Staff, the point is clear. Not only do none of the proposed members of the board of this company have any shelter experience, there are ties to wildlife exploitation, and some of these members' past business experiences are questionable, to say the least. Bankruptcies, liens, UCC filings have been sent for the town attorney's review. As a resident, taxpayer, and business owner in the town of Hempstead, I am extremely concerned with the lack of knowledge, experience, financial stability of all of these individuals, and you should be as well. As you're more than aware, there are over 200 animals at the shelter, not counting the TNR program. As myself as a heavily involved volunteer, I'm very observant of the shelter operations. And I see so much potential for this to be a crown jewel in your administration. In working with cooperation of the staff and volunteers, you could truly call this place a feather in your cap. The change needed at the shelter could be done with support from the administration and listening to the people with boots on the ground. We all have valuable experiences to share and valuable contributes to make. Please give us the opportunity for a better relationship with all of you, which we would love to have. Additionally, appreciate the staff's dedication and hard work. They do an impossible job with professionalism and care. They don't get paid millions to be there every day. They do it because they want to, and they do it because they love the animals. I do not want to be here today. I would rather this not even be an issue, but I felt I had no choice. I could not stand idly by after discovering a wealth of information and more to come to endorse such a deal even being contemplated. If this continues to be considered, we will be coming back to these meetings, which we really don't want to have to. We really want to have a positive relationship. Please reconsider and halt any consideration of Golden Animal Alliance being the new representation of the Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter, whether it's a partnership or not. Your time and consideration is appreciated, and I thank you all.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a nice day. How you doing? Your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, Jennifer Sarafin, Long Beach, New York. I'm also part of Protect Our Coast with Christina Kramer. I wanted to finish up from what she was saying about the Uniondale woman. It's also an environmental justice community, and they went in with turkeys to try to bribe this community. When they were coming into Long Beach, I think they came in with, I can't remember, I think it was like something to do with the parks. But they come in with all this nonsense to try to get you to think that they're helping you, and then they bring all this stuff in, and then they want to put a battery plant or they want to put wind turbines in your ocean. But you're supposed to be there to protect the community, so I hope that you're doing that. About these BESS plants and these lithium batteries, a lot of people don't know a lot about them. I work as a flight attendant, and we go through a small training with the batteries. So if somebody has a computer and it catches fire on an airplane, there's so much that goes into it, and the battery's like this big. You have to then take like 15 bottles of water, put it in a bag, pour all this water on it, put it in an overhead compartment away from, move all the people, and that's a tiny computer battery. Can you imagine if one of these plants are by a school or by a house and you have to shelter in place? I know I wouldn't want to live by that, so I don't think any of you would want to. So I hope that you're thinking about protecting our community. I just want to read something. So if the local municipalities and residents must have control of what happens into their communities, I don't think we live in a dictatorship. We know that Ryland Energy has submitted an application for the battery energy storage in Highland Park on Austin Boulevard. As far as we understand, the application has not been submitted to the town of Oyster Bay, has a moratorium. And West Hempstead is voting on it next month. I'm here to impose a moratorium in New York State and for them to do due diligence. We've asked the governor, has anybody talked about a moratorium for that Island Park one? Because the application has been sitting there, and we haven't heard anything about this. We keep asking. I know we've asked Don Clavin's office, we've asked Missy Miller's office, and we don't ever hear back about that. So that's kind of why we keep coming to these meetings and calling. And I know some people have heard me, they've heard Michelle and part of Protect Our Coast. So that's kind of why we're here again. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. You have a great afternoon. Next, if you can come on up there, give your name and address. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Alana Snyder of Seaford, and I am a volunteer at the Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter. I'm reading a statement on behalf of Nicole Rice, a Hempstead resident and former employee of Larry Wallach's Sloth Encounters.
Wait. Where do you live?
Seaford.
Okay, and you're reading a statement from somebody else?
Correct.
What's that person's name?
Nicole Rice.
Okay, Nicole couldn't be here, I guess?
She could not be here today.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nicole, and I was unfortunately unable to join today. In recent discussions surrounding the potential privatization of the Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter, concerns have been raised regarding the involvement of Berman, a known partner in Sloth Encounters. It is known that Berman's history as an animal exploiter positions him in a stark opposition to the ethical treatment of animals and raises significant red flags about a suitability to manage public resources dedicated to animal welfare. The implication that taxpayer dollars could be allocated to an individual with such a controversial background is alarming and warrants thorough scrutiny. Privatizing animal shelters has often led to detrimental outcomes for animals involved, particularly those who in charge prioritize profit over welfare. As seen in the past, William Berman and his previous facilities have compromised care standards, focusing instead on financial gain. Given Berman's association with sloth encounters, an organization criticized for its methods and practices, it is reasonable to anticipate similar repercussions should be granted authority over the Hempstead Animal Shelter. This scenario not only threatens the well-being of countless animals, but also misuses public funds intended for the protection and care. Moreover, entrusting such responsibilities to individuals like Berman undermines the community trust in local government and operations. Taxpayer dollars should support transparent and humane practices within animal shelters, rather than enrich those who exploit those vulnerable beings for their personal gain. Therefore, it is imperative that we reconsider any moves towards privatization under Berman's influence to prevent a gross misuse of public resources and mitigate potential suffering among animals. That is the end of Nicole's statement, but based on statements previously said today regarding this issue, I ask you to do your due diligence and look into Goldman Animal Alliance and potentially reject the bid. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next. Good morning, if your name and address, thank you.
Good morning. My name is Veronica Dalton, and I live in Island Park. I apologize. I'm extremely nervous.
You don't have to apologize. You're doing fine.
I'm sorry?
You don't have to apologize. You're doing fine.
No. But I felt it was important that I come. I wanted to put more of a personal aspect on this moratorium that we're asking for on the best battery storage facilities. Barrett, in particular, in Island Park, is surrounded by residential homes. On one side is the evacuation route coming out of Long Island, out of Long Beach, going through Island Park and into Oceanside. If this facilities so happen to go up in flames, it will impact more than one neighborhood, more than one community. I speak as an Island Park resident. I also speak as someone who was a 9/11 responder, and I know firsthand what those chemicals in the air can do to your body. We have schools in the vicinity. We have the train tracks going into Long Beach. Okay, so that would be disrupted. That would come to a screeching halt. All right, you have Costco on the other side of the Barrett facility. All right, you have PSEG right there. This will affect more than just a simple fire. This will affect more than one community. Not only that, but the fire department has not been trained to put out these kind of explosions. This is even beyond a plane crash. They don't have the equipment, they don't have the training, and we ask that you follow Oyster Bay's lead, put a moratorium. Let's look into this. Let's not Hochul use the Rapid Act to push their agenda through our communities. These are our communities. We have to take care of our own. Look what happened in Rhode Island on July 13th with the blade falling apart into the ocean. It destroyed besides their environment, their economic, their livelihood. It is something that we've had enough. We're still rebuilding from Sandy. We don't need that to happen here. All right. I appreciate you listening, and I hope that you will seriously look into the moratorium. Please, like I said, Oyster Bay has put that in place. Thank you very much.
Okay, you did great. Don't worry about it.
Yes, my name is Heidi Cohen, and I live in Farmingdale. Good morning, Supervisor and board members. I, too, am here to oppose the handing over of the town of Hempstead shelter to known animal abusers, to prevent clearly mimicking what so many of my colleagues have so eloquently already said today. I'm going to complete my colleague's thought that he didn't get to regarding the one person in this room today who spoke against those people taking over the town of Hempstead, Diane Madden. It has come to our knowledge that she was offered a position, a role, if this is handed over to them. Gary Kaufman, we know, is on the board, so there is a very clear conflict of interest here. And we know that people like that who take over a shelter are going to prioritize profits over well-being of the animals. They have a trail and a history of abuses. I'm also here to speak not just as a member of my community, but as a mother of a young child who has been raised to hold adults accountable for doing the right thing and making the right decision when we have to make decisions for those who can't make the decisions for themselves, such as animals, and to do the right thing for our community. So thank you for your time and your consideration today.
Okay, thank you very much. Hi. Does anybody else wish to be heard? Then you have to go up to the mic and give your name and address there.
Hi, Leslie Simmons, Point Lookout, New York. I've spoken before in front of the board. My cat Spirit was the one that was euthanized unnecessarily, mistakenly, by the vet's hospital that the animal shelter had chosen a year ago. He was picked up 6 feet off of my property line. That's a whole story. The board knows my story, I think. 2 months later, another cat was picked up 4 houses away, same exact thing. Thank you to the board to at least discontinue the use of Central Vet after all of that happened. My family and I do appreciate that, as do the Scotts, whose cat also had the same fate. So that was a great step going forward. As far as the privatization, yes, maybe that would make it helpful and easier and maybe more efficient. I don't know anything about this organization that has come in with a bid. Sounds like there are a lot of nefarious things in their background that probably should basically disqualify them for being the ones to take over. But maybe there are some great organizations out there that could take over and maybe do a great job. North Shore Animal League is a private organization. They do a phenomenal job, not just in New York, but they go nationwide. I don't know if anyone has spoken to them about somehow partnering or creating an annex within the town of Hempstead, because they are a phenomenal organization. That's just one thing. Going back to the existing shelter, because whether it's privatized tomorrow or 5 years from now, there are still things that occur in the shelter, like the loss of my cat. Apparently there are cats that have gone missing. There have been a lot of mistakes made. The veterinarian that was at Central Vet that euthanized my cat is the vet that was actually, she was an animal hoarder from Woodbury. She's coming up on charges. She had 200 sick animals within her house, dead and sick animals. She's the one that euthanized my cat. So I just ask that the board, the town of Hempstead, do something to make sure that the people that are in charge of the animals, whether it's through the town, whether it's through privatization, they are out for the animals' welfare. Because the woman that euthanized my cat was not. She just ran up a $2,000 bill and charged the town of Hempstead for it. So again, I think that this all needs to be looked at. I think there needs to be full-time vet care at the town shelter and sort of get rid of some of the overload that goes out to some of these outside private contract vets. I think the employees and I think the volunteers do an amazing job because I get all their emails.
Okay. Thank you, as always, for your passion. All right, with that, I'm going to tell everybody have a wonderful afternoon and have a great Thanksgiving. Oh, I'm sorry. That's okay. Your name and address, please?
Califano, Island Park, New York.
We called you earlier.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I don't want you thinking you were snubbed. You were called much earlier.
Ryder, I have to say something. It is a disgrace what you have done to my office and to myself. Favoritism, harassment with your connection with Anthony D'Exposito, with Matthew Passione, that your connection from Lynbrook, with Patrick Ryder, the commissioner, that Patrick Ryder's wife works for Anthony D'Exposito now. What you have done to me when I came here to the board, to the town of Hempstead, to the clerk's office, to get a permit to do a yard sale. I was attacked. Phone records do not lie. Your phone records from that day, calling the town, speaking with Matt Passione from my private investigator, you are an embarrassment to the town of Hempstead, to anyone what you have done, to myself. Don, I'm asking you to get involved. We have called your office numerous times. They have played games with me since June, removed my permit of for a yard sale at my building. With Laura Ryder being involved in this, I was in court. The judge dismissed any violation and has asked the town of Hempstead clerk there to get this resolved for me. We had John, your attorney, there. Hi, John. How are you? Mike Rich have called you numerous times. You have not called him back. I've been paying an attorney to show up because it's a corporation. The favoritism and the harassment that I have been going through with this town of Hempstead, now I got proof, Laura. Your phone record does not lie. Why would you want to try to hurt me, hurt my business? Have your inspector, Chris Curran, go walking into my office, breaking into my door. I have a police report. Mr. Cleveland, I am asking for you to look into this and to stop this. Like I said, the judge dismissed everything. I'm still in court on the 21st. No one's telling me how to get a stupid permit to put a fence around my building. Thank you to Laura and her little puppets from the village of Island Park, Laura. I'm happy you're proud of this and you teach your kids this, Laura. You do nothing for the community. Why would you get caught up in the corruption? You're a disgrace to our community, to our towns. And John, you still haven't called our lawyers back. The town, the building department, they don't call back. I don't know how they want me to fix this, to get a permit for my fence. I paid over $700 because the town's clerk's office said I had to get insurance to run a yard sale on the weekends on commercial property. John claimed that I was going to receive my reimbursement back. As of today, John has not called Mike Rich. This is a disgrace. The biggest township, this is how you work, discrimination. I have to come out. Laura, you need to bury your head. With Anthony D'Exposito, Matt Passione, your connection from Limbrook, I will be protesting in front of your house.
Thank you, Ms. Califano. I wish everybody a happy and blessed Thanksgiving and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.